As we know, we will entering version 1.6 soon, and what we know from livestream 1.6, there will be 2 new characters, one of which is the characters you've been waiting for, Soldier Zero Anby. The livestream of version 1.6 also clearly showed that Soldier Zero Anby is an agent with the electric attribute and has an attacking role. This means that Soldier Zero Anby will no longer be a standard type character like before. The biggest question is whether Soldier Zero Anby will be able to rival the meta DPS characters right now. So without further ado, I am Hoyostation and we will discuss the ultimate guide of Soldier Zero Anby version 1.6. Let's do this. Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough stellar jades? Here's a smarter way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Look no further than Lootbar. Lootbar is the most reliable top-up platform. It saves up to 20% for all orders compared with the official channel, and it provides an 80% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy pack for 3000 stellar jades for $42, which otherwise would have costed $50. Totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals we purchased in the last than 3 minutes. All recharges will be done through the official channel with miHoyo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount. Before we talk more about the full kit of Soldier Zero Anby, I want to say that the information in this video is a kit that is still being tested. It is beta version 1.6, so it may change in the future. As you may have seen in the version 1.6 livestream, Soldier Zero Anby is a character from the Opal Squad faction, the same faction as Soldier 11 and Trigger. Soldier Zero Anby will be released in the first phase of banner version 1.6 along with Bernice. Okay, let's get straight into the discussion. First, let's discuss Soldier Zero Anby's base stat. It's fairly similar to Evelyn's base stat, as I discussed in a previous video. There are slight differences in the Anomaly Mastery, Anomaly Proficiency, and base HP, but Soldier Zero Anby's Anomaly Mastery is still greater than Harumasa's at 94 compared to 80. Soldier Zero Anby also has slightly higher base HP and attack than Harumasa, at 7643 and 929 points. So overall, Soldier Zero Anby's base stats suggest that the new Anby should have higher damage output than Harumasa. Next, we will check out Soldier Zero Anby's main kit, which is pretty straightforward. All of Soldier Zero Anby's kit focus on a special mark mechanism called Silver Star. When Soldier Zero Anby attacks the enemy, it fills the Silver Star. For every 1/3 bar of Silver Star on the enemy gets a mark called White Thunder, which can be stacked up to 3 times. If Soldier Zero Anby attacks an enemy who already has the White Thunder mark with at least 1 White Thunder, then the special attack Celestial Thunder, which is launched against enemies who have the White Thunder mark, will provide additional damage, or we may call it an aftershock damage. In addition, I need to add a small note here, guys. If the enemy already has the maximum amount of White Thunder, we cannot fill the bar anymore. Also, when Soldier Zero Anby is not in battle or in an off-field position, the enemy's status will not be visible. It looks pretty simple, right? Okay, before discussing other parts, I want to provide more detailed information from Soldier Zero Anby's kit. One of the differences is that Soldier Zero Anby will always cause electric damage, unlike other agents that usually start with physical damage. Soldier Zero Anby will always cause electric damage from all basic attack hits, dash attacks, dodge counters, chain attacks, and ultimate. This means Soldier Zero Anby more consistent in dealing damage to the enemy without needing escape attack, like other agents do. This means that Soldier Zero Anby can stay in the battle and keep dealing electric damage to the enemy. Okay, now we will move on to her special attack. Soldier Zero Anby has 2 special attacks. The first is named Special Attack Celestial Thunder. It attacks the enemy in front and deals electric damage. The second is named Special Attack Azure Flash. You can only use this attack if you have at least 1/3 mark White Thunder. When you use this skill, Anby will dash forward quickly and deal electric damage. When it hits the enemy, it will consume 1 stack of White Thunder and trigger additional damage called Aftershock, which gives 1 more electric damage. If the enemy still has White Thunder stack, then this stack can be reused until the White Thunder stack runs out. This kit shares some similarities with Harumasa's dash attack Hitenu Suru Slash. That skill remains active as long as there's a mark on the enemy. In this skill, you can dash attack continuously until the enemy's mark runs out. Apart from two versions of the special attack, there's one more. Special attack Thunder Smite. When aftershock damage from White Thunder is triggered 3 times on the same enemy, a lightning strike attacks the enemy, dealing electric damage to nearby enemies. This damage also counts as aftershock damage. She also has an EX special attack that is important to know. This EX special attack is called EX Special Attack Thundering Bolt. If you have enough energy, press the special attack button to launch an attack that will produce a large electric damage. If this skill hits the enemy, the silver star mark will be fully charged. The important thing to note is that if the attack from EX special attack is hit by an enemy, the silver star mark on the enemy will be immediately full. This is advantageous because you don't need to attack the enemy to collect stacks for silver star. You can immediately launch the special attack combo to deal additional damage to the enemy. Soldier Zero Anby also has a chain attack called Chain Attack Leaping Thunder Strike. When the chain attack is triggered, Soldier Zero Anby will jump forward and quickly perform an attack that gives electric damage. Characters are immune when using this skill. Next, we will learn about another interesting part, Soldier Zero Anby's ultimate ability, Void Strike. This ability delivers a powerful attack that hits in front and causes a large amount of damage to the enemy. After the attack hits the enemy, the silver star mark on the enemy will be fully charged. Soldier Zero Anby's ultimate attack has a slightly lower damage multiplier than Harumasa's ultimate attack. Soldier Zero Anby's damage multiplier is 3470%, while Harumasa's is 3908%. This means that Soldier Zero Anby's attack will cause 500% less damage. But worry not, besides this ultimate deal tons of damage to the enemy, it also fills 3 stacks of silver star, allowing us to use 3 more special attack, Azure Flash and special attack Thunder Smite. So if we add up all these stacks, Soldier Zero Anby's ultimate can do about 5000% of the damage. Isn't that interesting? We've talked about most of Soldier Zero Anby's kits, but we haven't covered her core passive and additional abilities yet. Her core passive is called Core Passive Voltage Gap, and it increases the damage she does to enemies with the silver star mark by 25%. After the enemy is hit by the silver star mark, critical damage from aftershock will increase by 30% from Soldier Zero Anby's critical damage. Soldier Zero Anby can increase the damage of her aftershock, thanks to the additional critical damage on the aftershock that the enemy receives if the enemy has the silver star mark. The effectiveness of this increase in damage depends on Soldier Zero Anby's critical damage status. The greater the critical damage, the greater the increase in critical damage from this core passive. Additionally, this core passive reveals some important details. Soldier Zero Anby is a DPS character that can increase the value of characters that can provide aftershock. These characters were released in version 1.6. They include Soldier Zero Anby, Trigger, and Pulchra. These 3 agents have an additional damage mechanic, or maybe we can say aftershock mechanic. This can help maximize the effects of Anby's core passive. It can increase the damage output of these 3 characters. Next, we will talk about her Voltage Surge ability. When there's an agent with a stun or support role on the team, it will have an effect. Critical rate of Soldier Zero Anby will increase by 10%. When Soldier Zero Anby is in battle, all aftershock damage from all team members to enemies with the silver star mark will increase by 25%. This means that Soldier Zero Anby is best used with characters that are stun or support, like Pulchra and Trigger. These 2 agents don't need to be in battle for long, so Soldier Zero Anby can maximize the damage she causes. This additional ability is also quite good. The addition of critical rate by 10% is especially good for us because we no longer need a very high critical rate status. We can focus more on increasing critical damage so that the effect of her core passive can be more optimal. Okay, then we will move on to the last part of her kit, namely Soldier Zero Anby's Mindscape. The first Mindscape, Static Charge, triggers aftershock from White Thunder 3 times when Soldier Zero Anby EX special attack hits the enemy. This effect does not consume White Thunder stack. Normally, Soldier Zero Anby's EX special attack will not trigger aftershock damage from the enemy, but with Soldier Zero Anby's Mindscape 1, it can now trigger aftershock damage to the enemy. Also, instead of triggering 1 aftershock damage, her EX special attack will immediately trigger 3 aftershock damage at once. Very interesting, right? Mindscape 2, also called Failsafe Protocol. makes critical rate Soldier Zero Anby 12% higher. When she uses the ultimate, she will get 6 stacks of Thunder's Cry, the maximum being 6. Thunder's Cry will replace special attack Azure Flash, which attacks enemies with White Thunder. You can only use 1 stack of Thunder's Cry per skill, and using Thunder's Cry will also trigger extra damage from White Thunder. The point is that after Soldier Zero Anby uses the ultimate in Mindscape 2, she will get a reserve stack that can be used to launch the special attack Azure Flash, which will provide extra damage. This means we can use this special attack Azure Flash a total of 9 times against the enemy. 6 of those stacks come from Thunder's Cry, and 3 come from White Thunder. Of course, using the special attack Azure Flash 9 times will trigger the special attack Thunder's Smite 3 times. This will greatly increase the resulting damage output. Next, we will discuss Mindscape 4, named Silver Reverb. When attacking an enemy with the silver mark, ignore 12% of the enemy's electric resistance. The effect of Mindscape 4 applies to all of Soldier Zero Anby's kits, which means that all of her kits will increase the damage to the enemy. Finally, for Mindscape 6, named Prequel Protagonist. After triggering 6 times additional damage from White Thunder, there will be an additional damage of 1000% of Soldier Zero Anby's attack. This damage is considered aftershock damage. Mindscape 6 gives another hit of damage after triggering aftershock damage 6 times. This extra damage is 1000% of Soldier Zero Anby's attack. This is great effect for Soldier Zero Anby, but it's also reasonable because it's the effect of Mindscape 6. What do you think? Next, we will talk about Soldier Zero Anby's signature W engine, Severed Innocence. This W engine has a great advanced stat that increases the user's critical damage by 48%, which is very useful for Soldier Zero Anby. Critical damage increases by 30% when the user uses basic attack, special attack, or aftershock, and they will get 1 stack buff. Each stack increases the user's critical damage by 10%, stacking up to 3 times. This lasts for 30 seconds, with each stack lasting for a separate duration, and can be triggered once per skill use. With 3 stacks, users also get an additional 20% electric damage boost. This W engine is very useful for Soldier Zero Anby. It can provide a large amount of critical damage, and when you add up the effect of this W engine, it can provide up to 108% critical damage, which is a lot, especially for DPS characters who need critical damage. It's clear why this is important, because Soldier Zero Anby's core passive requires a significant amount of critical damage to properly enhance her aftershock. The W engine's effect is versatile and it can be used by various agents, especially those with electric attributes, like Harumasa. What are your thoughts? Okay, next I want to discuss the suitable W engine and disk drive for her. For the choice of W engine to maximize damage from Soldier Zero Anby is Severed Innocence, which is her signature W engine. Because all the effect of her signature W engine provide all the things needed to increase the damage output of Soldier Zero Anby, such as the addition of massive critical damage and electric boost. For alternative S-rank W engines, we can use Zanshin Herb Case, which is Harumasa's dedicated W engine, because this W engine can provide a pretty good critical rate and critical damage, which is certainly useful for Soldier Zero Anby. For an alternative W engine rank A that can be used, you can use the Cannon Rotor from the new Erudu Fan Battle Pass. However, this W engine is definitely not free-to-play friendly. For the W engine rank A free-to-play option that you can use for Soldier Zero Anby is Markado Desire, which can be easily obtained if you don't have an option for any W engine rank S. Markado Desire is pretty good W engine because it has a considerable increase in critical rate, which will certainly be useful for Soldier Zero Anby. Okay, finally, for disk drives that can be recommended for Soldier Zero Anby are 4 sets of new disk drives named Shadow Harmony, of which 2 sets will increase damage aftershock and dash attack by 15%. Then for the 4 sets, when launching aftershock or dash attack, if the damage cost matches the user's attributes, the user will get 1 stack buff. Each stack will increase attack by 4% and critical rate by 4%, and can be stacked up to 3 stacks. This effect is quite good because we can get a very big increase in critical rate and attack, which is 12%. Soldier Zero Anby can make the most of this buff effect because she can launch aftershock damage very easily. For 2 sets of disk drives, the best can use 2 sets of Woodpecker Electro to increase critical rate by 8%. But if you need more critical damage, you can use 2 sets of Branch and Blade Song, because it can increase critical damage by 16%. For main stat disk 4, it is the same as critical DPS in general. namely critical rate or critical damage according to your needs. Then for disc 5, you can use electric damage percentage, penetration, attack percentage, and for disc 6, use attack percentage. For the substat to look for is critical rate, critical damage, attack, and penetration. Finally, we come to the last part of this video, which is about the best teammates that can be paired with Soldier Zero Anby. As I've explained, Soldier Zero Anby is an attacker agent with the electric attribute that requires certain conditions, namely having a stun or support agent in the team. For the first character that matches paired with Soldier Zero Anby is none other than Astra Yao. Astra Yao herself can provide attack buffs, damage bonus, and also critical damage. And also Astra Yao can trigger a lot of quick assists and make it possible to switch between the stun agent and Soldier Zero Anby herself. Astra Yao herself is quite universal because she provides damage buffs and is not specific to certain things, which makes her a good character to be included in the Soldier Zero Anby team. The next character is Trigger, which will be the best stun agent in the Soldier Zero Anby team. Trigger can provide daze value of the field and also trigger aftershock and can make Soldier Zero Anby to stay in battle. Trigger herself does not require a long time in the field, also makes her synergy with Soldier Zero Anby very good. The next character is Pulchra. If you don't intend to take Trigger in the second phase, you can use Pulchra as an alternative. She can also provide off-field daze value and trigger aftershock. In addition, Pulchra can also increase the damage of aftershock team members in the core passive, which is where Soldier Zero Anby will be greatly helped by this increase in aftershock damage. For the last character, Rina can be an alternative if you don't have Astra Yao. Rina can provide penetration ratio buff to the team members, and also Rina is an agent with an electric attribute that can help increase enemy anomaly build-up. In addition, Rina is an off-field character that does not take long to be in the battle, which makes Soldier Zero Anby able to move more freely. Okay guys, maybe that's all for this video. What do you think? If there's anything you want to ask, please type in the comments down below. And don't forget to check out my other videos because they are no less cool. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.